At Advanced RV, every staff member is encouraged to take trips in our motorhomes. These travel experiences help us innovate and relate to client needs. Janice and Brittany took one of those trips last week. Good morning, I'm Trisha Eller with Advanced RV, and we are here today with Brittany and Janice, who are going to talk about their weekend. So girls, tell me about your weekend in Peanut. Where did you go? When did you leave?
So we had a wonderful time in Peanut, and I came to work still smiling, still wishing we were out hiking around on the trip. We left Friday right after work. I picked Janice up at her house, and then we went to Trader Joe's. And then we ended up having the trip and came back Sunday afternoon. It was about 2 o'clock for her son's 7th birthday party.
Yes.
So we filled that weekend and packed it with a lot of fun.
Nice. And what made you two girls take this trip?
It was a conversation about me wanting to learn more about Advanced RV and the systems and how everything works. And the conversation started about a year ago when I was brand new to the company. And it went from wanting to learn about it to maybe doing a rental training session to a full-blown trip.
Where did
a year
you
later
go?
we made it happen.
Yes, yeah.
Where'd you
Finally.
go?
Yeah.
We went to Mohican State Park, and we toured around the different farms and went to a Wade nursery. It was Wade
and Gatton
Wade
Nursery.
and Gatton Nursery.
Yeah.
And most of their plants, they were, dormant for the winter. But we got a sense of the layout, and it was still a great place to stop.
Yeah.
Wow. And who drove?
We both did.
Equally drove, yeah.
I drove on the way home, and Janice drove on the way there.
Yeah.
Nice. Did you have any traveling experience in a motorhome for a few days like you did this weekend in the past?
I've had no experience in a motorhome of any size.
I've taken a couple trips in an advanced RV, one in Pebbles to Massachusetts and one in Peanut to Massachusetts. So this was my third night in an advanced RV.
Wow. And what was the most memorable part of your trip, would you say?
The whole trip was memorable. It's hard to pick just one instance, but I really liked Malabar Farms.
The inn with the food.
Yes.
That was delicious food. For me, my favorite part was just feeling like we were on the same schedule. Like Friday night we were up really late, but Saturday night we were ready for bed at the same time. Just the timing of when we were hungry, when we wanted to get out, when we wanted to rest. It was like we were twins.
Yeah, it was.
And how did Peanut treat you? How did it serve you?
Peanut was perfect.
Aw.
Yeah.
Yeah. We played games on the twin bed, so I'm really into board games, so I introduced Janice to Hive and Mastermind and a couple other games that we got to enjoy at nighttime. And we didn't really prepare food, so when we stopped at Trader Joe's, we got food that was already prepared, but we were able to eat very well in Peanut with the fridge. So we stocked it with smoothie drinks and blended juices and had
Wraps
great
and
meals.
hard-boiled eggs. Yeah.
Wow. And what would you say was the most challenging part of the trip?
I thought that the most challenging part was going to be learning the systems and being able to use Peanut, but it was so easy. It wasn't challenging at all.
Challenging. I think for me, I don't think we had a challenging moment, but I could think of a time that could have become challenging. So when we were planning this trip, not only did we finally made it, but we had to reschedule it a couple times just as things came up. And we got it on the calendar, but what we didn't think about was at a campground, the water, and they shut the water off. And if we were doing this again, to make sure and think through what season is it, make sure that we're not taking for granted the resources that are available.
Right.
If we would have gone any weekend after this, there would have been no way for us to get water.
We filled up the minute, I mean, within hours of when they shut it off.
Yeah.
They gave it, the lady at the check-in gave us a quick heads up, and I'm glad she did.
Yeah, yeah.
So timing worked out wonderfully.
So give me an example of when you had to work together as a team.
The whole trip.
Yeah.
I mean, everything was simple.
We worked together a lot as we were hiking to remember the paths we took and the direction we took. I mean, but other than that.
And I think we worked together the whole trip, but it wasn't as obvious because when one wanted to drive or it was all very natural.
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
Great travel buddy.
Yes, absolutely.
Did you meet any interesting people on your travels this weekend?
So we didn't really meet a lot of folks or talk to many people. By the time we got into the campground, it was cold and late, and there weren't many people out. But
I think about the staff at
yeah,
the restaurant at Malabar
I was
Farms.
just thinking that.
Yeah.
What happened?
So we like to eat. And I think the waitress alerted the chef that it was two girls ordering all this food. So the chef kept coming out to see if we were really eating everything. And we were. And by the end, after we finished our dessert, he came out and high-fived us.
Nice. No doggy bags?
Just a little doggy bag.
Yeah.
A little bit of our dinners were left.
And what would you say is one thing that you learned from this trip that you'll definitely take with you on your next one?
I think I learned that it's easy to, when you have an advanced RV, it's easy to find somewhere to sleep. So we got into the area late on Friday, and it was dark, and we talked about heading into the state park to try to find the campgrounds and see if we could get a site. But we didn't know where we were going, and we also realized that as we were driving, we were going to miss the scenery of getting through the state park. And so we thought, let's just get off the freeway, and we found a parking lot and just slept there for the night.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that really worked out. So thinking about what's available to you. So in our case, we had Peanut, and this is an earlier built advanced RV. It has AGM batteries, not lithiums, but it has the same auto start setup. We just tried to be mindful of what we were using to conserve power, and it happened in a way that it seemed planned or logical, but we didn't plan it. Because we stopped at the truck stop and we started to drive the next day, we were recharging, and we didn't plan on doing that. But to plan on that, if you're in a van like Peanut, so everything worked out perfectly.
Right. And then once we did make it to Mohican State Park in the morning, it was much easier to find a campsite than I thought it would be.
And we got to enjoy the farms and.
Great. Now, if you did have an extra couple 100 miles that you could take and go somewhere else, where would you go, and what motorhome would you take?
Well, for me, I've heard that Salt Fork is a great place to go, which I think is a little bit further south. And I would probably try to take a van where I could experience the lithium batteries and see what the different capacities are.
Okay.
I might take Peanut again. The twin bed setup's my favorite, and this unit has a built-in vacuum sweeper. So at one point when we got in, it just seemed really dusty, so we vacuumed, and just having a dedicated space for that where it was set. None of the other rentals, I believe, Kinder might actually, but not many advanced RVs get a built-in vacuum sweeper, and I really appreciated that. Had the twin beds, the bathroom, the fridge. I did miss the wardrobe a little bit from other trips.
Okay.
Yeah. Another feature that we liked that was kind of a surprise to us, when the AutoGen kicked on in the morning, it automatically turned on the heated seats up front.
Nice.
And we didn't realize that, but we swiveled the seats and got the Kindle and we're just hanging out for a little bit. And when we sat down, we thought, this is great.
Yeah.
It's a great feature to have.
Yeah, most definitely.
So we didn't plan on it, but had the heated seats on from the night before, and the timing
Nice.
again just worked out, and it was nice.
Well, that sounded like a wonderful trip. Where can we find out more and see some pictures?
We'll be posting more to social media, and we're going to work on a blog
Newsletter,
and
yep.
to put in our newsletter, and there'll be more photos included with that.
Yep.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for telling me about your weekend. I cannot wait to go on one myself. And thank you. Have a great day.
Take care.
Bye.